Hey guys, I'm Blessed Dad here with another review, and this time it's Arrow, Season 1, Episode 7. So we're moving right along with these Arrow reviews. Kind of disappointed that last week there was no Arrow. I'm not sure why the reason for that was. If someone knows, leave it in the comments below, because I actually would like to know. But anyway, we got Episode 7 right now, and it's titled Muse of Fire. Pretty good episode, and one thing, it didn't have any flashbacks, which is kind of strange for this show because almost every episode now has had flashbacks to the previous place where he was on the island where he was there for 5 years. Now, before I get really into the story of what happened in this episode, just want to let you know that this review does contain spoilers, so if you don't want to know what happened, go watch the episode and come back. So let's start off this review, and it was actually a pretty cool episode for different reasons than usual, but we'll get into that in a minute. So basically it starts off with someone on a motorcycle, and they have a gun, and they start shooting basically Oliver's mom. It looks like they're gonna shoot Oliver's mom, so basically the person on the motorcycle drives by and starts opening fire, and Oliver's mom actually doesn't get hit, but there's just a man that was basically right next to her got shot. He got shot multiple times, and Oliver was right there, so he basically went up to his mother, ran to her, and was like, "Are you okay, Mom?" Yeah, okay. And he just left. And it was kind of funny just to see, like, why would you just leave your mother there? She's on the floor from, like, the aftershock of it, because she almost got shot. She actually has a concussion, like a small concussion, we find out later. Why would you just leave your mother there? It's kind of suspicious, and we see the repercussions of that later on in the episode. But a really cool scene in this episode, he starts running down, chasing after the gunman on the motorcycle, and he's running up after the gunman, and he can't really catch him because he's obviously the person's on a motorcycle. So he gets a steel rod, and he throws it, and, you know, his arrow has precise accuracy, goes right into the motorcycle's wheel and kind of slows the motorcycle down, but still the motorcycle gets away with the person, the gunman. So it was actually a really cool scene, and I really liked it. I love the action in this show because it's always good. Really good fight scenes in my opinion. Not too much fighting in this episode though, but we do see a new character, and I'm just going to say right now who's in it. It's a comic book character. It's Huntress, and yeah, Huntress is actually in this episode. And we actually find out basically right after this that this gunman that shot, well, it's close to shooting Oliver's mom, is actually Huntress. And it was actually kind of weird because this person on the motorcycle, Huntress obviously, was dressed all in black, nothing else. Black helmet, black suit, everything. Black leather, and you know what? Huntress wears that outfit the whole episode, and it's just, I don't know, it just felt kind of stupid because I'm used to Huntress's comic book appearance. I'll throw a picture up, it'll be somewhere in this review of Huntress's comic book outfit, and it's not black at all. It's like a almost like a pinkish purple, and yeah, so, and it was kind of weird to see her in Arrow because she's usually in Batman stuff, but you know, it's not like she's always in Batman stuff, so it's not that weird. But it was cool to see her on the screen, but again, she wasn't really in her costume. And the thing is with Deathstroke, he was basically in his comic book costume. They put a little bit twist on it though, and made him look more modern basically, but he still had his like iconic mask and everything that made you know it was Deathstroke. With Huntress in this episode, if you know, I didn't know anything about the comics, I really wouldn't know that this person is a comic book character. So that's kind of where I kind of think, you know, maybe they could have done a better job. But at the end of this episode, in the preview for next week's, we actually see that Huntress kind of gets more of a comic book costume. So I was kind of happy with that maybe, you know, she gets a little bit more of a comic book accurate costume. But other than that, I was kind of disappointed in her look because it was basically all black. But considering the situation, it makes sense. So anyway, after that, we see Oliver's mom in the hospital, and basically Oliver's sister is like, "Why didn't you stay with our mom? Like, why didn't you just leave her?" And Oliver kind of, you know, always has to come with his excuses because he can't say that he can run as fast as a guy on a motorcycle. It's kind of giving away that he's kind of Arrow. Not directly, but it still kind of gives you the hint. And he says, "Oh, I was trying to catch his license plate." So that's actually a valid, like, lie, I guess. I would believe that, but his sister basically realizes that he's lying, and he's like, "I'm sick of your lies," you know, stuff like that. We actually find out after that the mother wasn't the target in the shooting. It was the man that basically stood in front of her that actually got killed. He was the target. He died. And with Huntress, we actually see her Xing off pictures of the people she kills, similar to what Arrow does with his little book. But honestly, they're both doing it for different reasons. So after that, we basically find out that this girl on the motorcycle is Huntress, and Oliver's sister actually talks to Oliver's mom and basically says, "Aren't you sick of secrets?" And that's kind of really ironic because the one with the biggest secret here is Oliver's mom. She's like this part of this evil group that's doing all this stuff. Obviously, if you haven't watched the other episodes, she's the one that was responsible for Oliver's yacht being sunk, for her father being killed, all that. She's responsible. Her organization was responsible for that. So really, she is the one with the biggest, secret. And it's funny because, his sister asked her, like, aren't you tired of his secrets? Really ironic. And, she kind of defends herself too, saying, well, everyone has secrets, blah, blah, blah. So then Oliver goes to this meeting with this kind of corporate guy, this boss. And we know that he's this corrupt guy that Oliver's basically looking into. And we find out that that Huntress is actually his daughter, and her real name is Helena. So Helena is Huntress, and she is this corrupt corporate guy's daughter. So basically, Oliver's kind of pretending to make a deal with this guy, but he's not Arrow. He's just talking to him like as Oliver, and basically, Helena is kind of forced by her father to kind of go and finish the deal with Oliver. So they go out to eat and talk about it, but they really don't talk about it. They just talk about themselves, really. And basically, the corporate guy says, "Well, I gotta go. I have another meeting." So Oliver and Helena go on their own to finish the deal, basically. And this corporate guy goes off to another meeting. We actually see him in this next meeting, and it's basically in a dark alleyway, and he's talking to the Triad, so we know he is really corrupt. And we see another appearance of China White. So China White's basically looks like she's the head of the Triad in America, so that probably makes the most sense to me right now. But so he's basically dealing with the Triad and China White. So that's how gives you an idea of how corrupt he is and everything. So then we switch back to Oliver and Helena having dinner, and they really connect, and they don't realize that they're both like vigilantes, really. So they kind of have the same feelings toward everything, and they kind of really connect. They seem like the same people. Then she brings up that her fiance died, but we don't know why. Helena's fiance actually died, and again, we don't know why, but we find out later. So it was kind of hinted that maybe that's what she's fighting for, her death of her fiance, but we don't know. So then we find out that we go to like Oliver's mom. She's in bed, recovering from her, little shooting accident, I guess. And we actually see this man come in, and we see him before. I'm not sure what his name is, but he's basically the head of the evil corporation that the mother's a part of, and he comes in person to her in her home, which is really a bad move. I mean, every time we see Oliver's mom talking to this man, the man that's the head of this evil organization that does everything, it's always in secret. She's always in a car, switches to the other one really fast. It's not, you won't guess that the mother's actually doing this. And then he just walks straight into her home. I don't understand why that would happen. Wouldn't the sister realize it or something, that something's a little funny? I'm not sure. But anyway, he comes, and he basically says you're a vital part of the future, and Robert, Oliver's dad, feared that future, and basically that's why they killed him. So again, Oliver's father, he was an evil man, but it looks like he was changing his ways close to his death. So that's basically why he died, and why the mother and this evil man and their corporation are trying to take down. Basically, they didn't try. They killed Oliver and everyone. They tried to kill them. So you basically find out, briefly, and not really the real reason, but basically find out a little bit information more on that. So then, these mob members go into the dinner area that Oliver and Helena were eating at, but they're long gone now. But they're there, and they're taking money from the owner of this little bar restaurant thing. So then Arrow pops in, beats the guys down, and Huntress arrives, and she starts fighting, and then they start fighting each other. So Arrow and Huntress actually fight for a little bit. It was pretty cool. Nothing huge. The fight scene didn't really last that long either, but it was still pretty cool. And basically Arrow kind of rips off Huntress's mask, and he realizes that it's her. And he kind of takes off his own mask for a second. But I don't understand why he would do that, but I guess Helena doesn't realize it's him. I'm not sure. Maybe she does realize, but I'm not sure. She finds out that Oliver's Arrow near the end of this episode that we'll get to in a minute. But I don't know why he would take off his mask right when he took off her mask. I don't know if he felt like I have to make things even now that I know her identity and all that. I'm not really sure. So then we find out that Huntress is targeting her own family. She doesn't feel right about what her father's doing and his corrupt ways, so she's killing everyone that's a part of this and kind of, rewriting her own family's wrongs that no one else is living up to. So it's kind of basically the same thing as what Arrow's doing in a sense, but not really. So then we basically move on, flip the page here, bam, and we move on to. We find out that Oliver's friend, the one that's basically in love with Laurel, his bank card, his credit card gets declined and says you don't have any access. That's kind of weird. He was on a date with Laurel, and there looks like they're getting really serious now. He basically, is thinking, why did my card get declined? So he goes to see his dad, and we find out that Oliver's best friend's dad is actually that evil man that was talking to Oliver's mom. So it looks like both parents of Oliver and his friend are part of this evil organization that killed Oliver's dad and attempted to kill Oliver. So that was a big reveal this episode, probably the biggest reveal. And basically his father shut down all his funds, all his savings, and he's basically on his own now. So then he goes into Laurel, kind of lives with her, basically. Then we find out that Helena, her fiance, was killed by her own family members, and that's why she's fighting. So basically, well, you could kind of put it together near the beginning of this episode, but now it's basically confirmed that she does. And the mob kidnaps both Helena and Oliver. They were just casually, basically talking to each other at the fiance's grave, and that's kind of how we found out. But they weren't in their costumes or anything, so they got kidnapped by the mob because the mob was after Helena. So then the mob guy that kidnapped them basically says, if your husband wasn't snooping in on us and wasn't going to expose us, we wouldn't have killed him. And basically Helena reveals that she was the one actually snooping around and was going to reveal them, and they actually killed the wrong person. So I guess she feels that it's her fault that her fiance died, so she's kind of living up to her own wrongs, I guess. So again, it's similar to what Oliver's doing, but not exactly the same. So basically then the mob members are going to kill Helena and Oliver. When Oliver escapes, tackles the guy, and of course Helena escapes too, and they start fighting them, blah blah blah, and Helena just kills the mob guy that was talking to her, kills him right away, snaps his neck, and she basically says, I had to kill him, no one can know my secret. Well, Oliver knows her secret now, so why is why isn't she killing him? So that was kind of stupid in a sense, but whatever. Then Oliver's stepfather actually comes back to the mother, and it looks like things are fine again, and he really isn't angry at her. I don't know how he could get over the fact that he found out that she was holding the yacht that Oliver almost died on and his father died on. Don't know how he could get over that, but whatever. Basically then Oliver kind of breaks into Helena's house, and she knows that he's Arrow, and he knows that she's Huntress, and basically they kind of connect again, and they basically say it feels good to tell the truth, and they kiss, and it looks like they're gonna get involved, but I guess we'll find out next episode. And from the preview, it looks like things kind of go sour, but again, Oliver's just showing his identity to everyone. It just seems like he is. Here's my identity, that's what it just seems like with this show. I don't know, but overall, decent episode. I think that next week's episode is going to be a lot better. But yeah, I'm really loving the series. Hope you guys are too. So just leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me, guys, on Twitter at unblesseddata for some new news and stuff, and you can just hear my thoughts throughout the day, basically, on figures, action figures, movies, TV shows, everything. So thanks, guys. Stay tuned for more news and reviews, and I'll talk to you later. See ya.